Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Critical Misses channel. Before we get into any introductions, let's set the scene a bit, shall we? There is a heavy, dampered light that's shining down on you, sitting on a tough wooden bench, your hands being slightly moved in the left circular direction and then in the right as tape is wrapped around your wrists, hands, and knuckles. And your coach is someone that your family paid for. It's not really a huge, deep connection. And besides, you don't really train anyway. You only do this on occasion. But you feel the polyester slide past your knuckles and hands as you tap the gloves together to ensure that they are tight, ready. You're not sure why. It's kind of a reflex. You get up and you walk towards the dull, thudding voices that you can hear reverberate through the cracked stone walls. And you step out into what is far from a ring and is essentially a pit of sand with some solid stone underneath. And you hear people jeering, all cheering in unison. Rich boy, as they usually do. And you wave to your adoring crowd, really soaking in all of the praise as you make your way toward the center. And Nines, standing across from you, you see the short-cut, shaved side, combed-over blonde hair of Marlene. You two are in a weird spot right now. You were rivals, and you still are rivals, and you're also not rivals. It's complicated, and you're more focused on punching her at the moment than anything else. Go ahead and roll me a... You know, what check do you think is appropriate for boxing, for the way Nines boxes?
For the way Nines boxes? From the very much that I know about this game, I would say skirmish? Is that
okay? Sure. Go ahead and roll a skirmish check for me.
And that's just the number of dots I have in D6s?
That is correct.
And then which one do I take? Both of them, highest, whatever?
Yeah, you take the highest number.
I got a 5 then.
Okay, so with a 5, you dip in as the bell sounds. You watch her footwork, and she's good at this, but there's a certain discipline behind it that she just doesn't really have. And you manage to bob and weave past and under 2 of the punches, and you deliver 2 curt jabs of your own before being blindsided by a right hook that makes the lights and everything go white and flash, and immediately your head pulses with the dull, like, sound of blood rushing to your head. And there's a second when your lights are just dazed and out of place. And then you're mildly wet, hands and ass on the cold cobblestone road, looking up at your base of operations and seeing the smoldering outside of these 2 sort of bent and melted, twisted barrels. After hearing what you're fairly certain was a sniper round pop off, it seems like someone has paid you all a visit. And you managed to see a symbol up on the wall. And it's a similar one to one that you've seen recently in a sort of rundown, rotten wooden shack that Ari reacted sort of strangely to. Make me an occult roll.
An occult roll.
Yeah.
Is that a skill?
Or I'm so sorry. Make me I'm thinking of that my Vampire the Masquerade brain just overrode everything. Make a survey roll. Or excuse me, an attune roll. There we go. I got it. I know how to play this game.
Since I have no points on that, I take the lowest, so I got a 2.
Okay. So with a 2, do you have a D100 on hand?
If I lean forward, she'll fall. Goodbye. Yes, I do. Of course I do. I have my destiny.
Awesome. Fantastic. Go ahead and roll that for me.
Great. Okay, good. There are different colors. You're going to be the... I got a 90.
A 98?
90. Just flat 90.
Okay, yeah. That's still pretty good. There's a moment where this smoke sort of sails towards you from the smoldering entrance, and you could swear you hear the barest whisper that says, beware the firemen. As the smoke wafts past you. And the camera follows the smoke as it stretches out over the pier and slowly spells out the word Blue Ghosts. Ladies, gentlemen, and everyone who finds themselves inside and out of the gender spectrum, my name is Dee, and welcome to episode 2 of Blue Ghosts, the sunset of A Date with the Clouds. With me today, I have a lovely cast of the most underhanded crooks and criminals that I could find, starting on my right with Max.
Hi, I'm Max. I use he, him, or they, them pronouns, and I am joining us today, and hopefully continuously if I don't get killed, as Bishop, the blue-haired ex-lawyer, current scoundrel.
And right after Max, we have the ever-enigmatic Sphinx. Ryan, how you doing?
What's going on? Sphinx Orion, he, him. I'll be playing Cole, also he, him, and he's the team's lurk.
Nice. And then if we slide on down, we can check in with Alex. How you doing, friend?
I'm doing well, and appropriately playing Ari, our team slide. So I don't know whether that was intentional, but it was perfect as a segue. But yeah, I play Ari, a sensual and a rather dramatic member of the team who enjoys all things sneaky and sultry.
Fantastic. And then we also have the lovely Becca playing Nines. How are you?
I'm good. I'm Becca. I usually have pronouns. This is Tiffany. She uses she, her pronouns. I don't know. I haven't really asked, honestly. That's just me. And yeah, I'm here. I'm vibing. And she's already leaning on my back again. So the second I have to grab more dice, she's going to fall and die.
Fantastic. And now, with that having been said, we also have one more guest playing the lovely Katie. We have Janie Potts, who's going to be joining us in a little bit. Just some life that got away from us, and she'll be joining us at the table, hopefully as soon as they are able to. So, the explosion happened a few days ago. You perhaps did some looking into it to your own various degrees, but unfortunately, with circumstances being as they are, you still have to focus on the mission. You know and have gathered information about the sarcophagus, a interestingly sized piece of tech, relic, artistry, who knows? It is something that is being kept within the Dr. Leonard Church Research Institute. And it's something that one of your biggest debtors, Tommy Tukench, is going to be definitely interested in getting his hands on. You all reviled to look into the building, try and piece things together from what you could, and you pulled together a lot of security details about the building. But the most important thing you found is that the package is going to be moved, and it will be moved tomorrow. So tonight, as the sun has gone down and it is now like evening-ish time, 7, 8 p.m., you all are finalizing the plan and deciding when you want to get started in the morning. You know that the transport is going to be happening at around noon-ish, somewhere around there, noon, 1 p.m. And yeah, y'all are discussing your plan. So feel free to begin.
Now bear with me here, darling, but please take it from the top. Carl, explain to me this one more time, what you have in mind.
Well, since they're transporting the key and the sarcophagus separately, we're gonna have to split up. I was thinking direct approach would work, but we don't have to be the direct ones. I was thinking we could get someone to be our muscle. And who better than someone we hate?
Funnily enough, Nines, I don't think it's you this time.
Yeah, no, I gathered that when we said hate. I don't at least think you all hate me. I wouldn't be surprised, though.
Ari,
Not yet. Give it time.
Oh, thanks.
Well, we don't want heat on us. We might as well direct it towards somebody else. And I was thinking we could tip off Bog Spawn that there might be a potential prize that's being transported.
But then what if the Bog Spawn show up for a bigger fight in the middle of the day?
Probably.
I don't
They're
think
wild.
they'd care.
They're wild enough to do it.
Yeah, they definitely are, but then we have to deal with that in the long run.
In what way?
They already hate us. They're gonna hate us more.
I didn't say we had to tip them off.
Can they hate us more?
Probably.
There's always so much more room in someone's heart for more hate than there ever seems to be for more love.
We just have to make sure the target isn't a sarcophagus, but something else they might be carrying.
They carrying anything else?
No, but they don't
Just
know
make
that.
anything up? Okay. I
Just
didn't
tell
know
them
there was
just tell them the sarcophagus is a distraction
Mm.
for something else they're transporting.
That
So-
thing is so damn big. Would they really? You know what I'm trying to say?
I'm sure if there's a distraction going on, then there shouldn't be a problem even with the biggest of things. But it would have to be a very big distraction.
Yeah,
People
getting
who
it
have
away.
security measures like that don't really do distractions. They do security and like operations or whatever. But you don't see like government buildings moving politicians with like some flashbangs to distract you. They just make sure you don't get to the car.
Yeah, but if we have our own people in the security detail, they won't notice it just being carried off. You're just securing it.
Fireworks.
That makes sense.
You're just securing the package in a hostile
we-
situation.
And if we get one of our people on the inside in security, we would have no problem.
Then we just have to get one of them inside.
At least one.
Maybe a few more if we're lucky. I hear there may be job openings coming up.
Coming up as of 12 hours from now.
Precisely.
Didn't that guy you were talking to say they were hiring extra security?
I don't honestly remember. He was mostly talking about weird technology stuff and math. He was saying a lot of big words and sciencey stuff.
Could we have integrated the people in the security detail before this talk?
Sure. You can. We'll roll to see how well it goes, and I will say that that's something that's revealed during the plan. But you can certainly have attempted this already, yeah. So that it's sort of like already in wait.
Yeah, I guess maybe we're waiting to hear how successful it has been, but we're trying at least.
There's from what I can tell you this for sure. From what you've heard thus far, they are set to be a part of the security detail tomorrow.
Right.
So
now I just need to remember their names. Names are so hard.
You just need somebody to tip off our distraction.
What about Genevieve? Freaked me out the first time I saw her. No offense if you're listening, Genevieve.
She doesn't seem to be around.
All right, just in case, covering my bases.
I mean, she can't really seem to interact with a lot of things, can't she?
No, but imagine if you were trying to do a very important job and someone who you can see and everyone else around you can't, who has a gash that is bloody on their body, is just following you around in silence. It's like advanced gaslighting.
I suppose.
And she told me that there was someone in there that she thought could see her. Down on the 3rd floor, I believe. Some lady.
Well, I guess then it's a question of, are we actually going to the building? If it would have been big distraction, 2 teams, is one team hitting the building before getting the key, or are we forgetting about the necklace, amulet, whatever it was?
Locket. I told her I'd get that locket.
So as much as I hate to split us up then into even more different groups as to how I see this going forward, would you feel comfortable on your own?
I can manage.
Well, on your own with a ghost.
Exactly.
I feel like there's a joke to be made with the fact that she's like kind of red and wore the, you know?
Azure Phantom, yeah.
The Azure Phantoms, yeah, you know. And she's like a red phantom.
I think we kind of look complementary.
Like a crimson
And Bishop
phantom.
kind of like pulls one of their braids forward.
It's really appropriate, yeah.
All right, and then our other team would be Carl and...
At this point, me.
And you would be breaking into where there's the person that's holding the key, whatever caravan that's going to be in.
I'm not really sure what the caravan's going to be. You might be traveling alone for discretion purposes, or you might be heavily guarded.
How about I come with you for that?
I don't mind.
If it's sneaky, I have enough finesse I hope to get us through. If worse comes to worse, I can be very persuasive.
I know you can.
That leaves me and Katie as appropriately to the distractions.
All you really
Right.
need to do is wait for the sarcophagus to be moved and get it to the tunnels.
Mm-hmm.
So the heavy lifting almost.
I do that.
Only temporarily. If we can get it onto like a cart. I mean, just like a wood pallet, throw some wheels underneath it, roll it all the way back here.
So are we getting it off whatever it's currently on, or are we just hijacking the thing that it's on?
Depends on what it's on. If it's on a cart, we can just take the cart.
Do we know what it's on?
Somebody roll me a survey check.
Ooh.
I think I'm good at that.
I'm not, so I won't.
Go Bishop. Go Bishop.
Or I'm good enough at it, I guess. 4.
Bishop, you know that it's not being carried on a cart. A 4 is just barely a success. So you know that it's not going to be on a cart. It's going to be in something with a roof.
Yeah. I assume it's going to be enclosed so that I don't fucking know, the magic won't get out.
The tunnel should be wide enough to get the sarcophagus in there, right?
Based on the dimensions you were given by Genevieve, yes, it will fit through your tunnel systems.
Well, it had to go into the door of the room that it's in originally, which is probably much smaller than the mouth of the tunnel.
So, if y'all have the beginnings of your plan all stretched out, then I'm gonna need y'all to, yeah, that was a good one. I'm gonna need y'all to select a plan type. This is going to be important because it determines a crucial point of information that you do not have. There are 6 different plan types. There is assault, deception, stealth, occult, social, and transport. Those are your 6 different types of plan. Based off of what you all are planning, I personally think this seems either like deception or assault. But I will tell you the point of detail that you will be missing. And so long as y'all can justify that this is somehow the plan wraps back around to this subject, I'll let you go for it. So for assault, what you don't know is the point of attack, which in this case would be you don't know the travel path of the caravan. For deception, you don't know the method of deception, which in this case would be you don't know how well things are going to go with the bog spawn actually showing up. Stealth, the detail that you don't know is the point of infiltration, which y'all would have to tell me how it's stealth. Occult would be in you don't know the arcane method of engaging with superpower, or the supernatural power. Social, you don't know a social connection with the target in question. And transport, you don't know the route and means by which you plan to transport your stuff. So, which one of those do y'all think you're leaning towards?
I feel weirdly personally going towards, we don't know how we're going to get it out of there. The transport one, I just purely for the chaos.
To me, it sounds like something in between either stealth or assault, because I guess most realistically, with the things that we gathered last episode, we are unsure of where exactly we're going to intercept the sarcophagus. And we are sort of, I mean, we're sneaking, so stealth. So I would say that it's probably one of those two.
Okay. Okay. That sound agreeable for everyone?
No, don't leave the choice on me. Someone else say something. Because if it goes wrong, that's my fault.
Wrong. Okay.
I mean, if it goes
Okay,
wrong, it's the
okay.
rest of our faults because we didn't speak up if we had different ideas. Leaving you in the clear because we're not talking.
Interesting. Okay.
Where was the camaraderie? Where was the team?
I think it should be an assault because I like fight.
Mm.
That's the end of that sentence.
And remember, the type of plan you're picking does not have to. This isn't going to change the plan that y'all have. It's just going to change the unknown factors that are at play in the background.
That's why
Mm.
Ari saying transport was the one Ari wanted. Like, yeah, the carry cargo or people through danger. I mean, unfortunately, that's the sarcophagus crew essentially would have to go through danger.
Yeah. Which is fine. I can handle danger.
It just sounded chaotic and I was here for it.
I mean, we're gonna be in danger no matter what.
We are technically assaulting everything.
True.
Well, technically.
So, yeah, which one was the one that we were looking at, though?
I believe that Max was leaning toward stealth.
Stealth, yes. Yeah. I'm down for that, too.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. So y'all are planning to use the bog spawn as the distraction, and y'all will leap in the moment of action out of the shadows to retrieve your goods. And you all are taking some rooks on the job with you, I believe. How many people are you taking? You currently have 3 people in your employ, and one of them is 7 years old. As far as rooks go.
Shit.
The non-7-year-old.
He would really want to go, though.
One
Okay.
of the books we have
Yeah,
is
right.
in
Don't leave me
right?
behind.
I feel
watched
like it's
the Arcane-
irresponsible to take the 7-year-old.
I mean, yeah.
Not
What's
that
that?
I'm really
What's
all
that?
about ethics, but
What's that you said, Cole?
One of the rooks we have is an elite, right?
Yep. You got an elite rook.
Take
The
the one
7-year-old?
elite, leave the 2 behind. The 7-year-old and the piece of company.
That's up
Or are
to
you
y'all.
thinking bring the elite and the other one who's old enough?
I would say the more rooks that you assign to the job, the more die will be added to their pool, essentially. But they will have to lay low in between jobs, so you wouldn't be able to contact them during the next sunrise.
We can use the
Phase.
7-year-old to try and gather information while we need to lay low. No one's
Mhm.
going to suspect the 7-year-old.
Yeah. I mean, if you're in 7 Towers, you would expect the 7-year-old. But yeah.
Sounds good. And what are the names of these 2 rooks? Your elite rook is named.
I don't think we gave him a name yet.
I know. That's what I'm prompting right now.
Well, Carl, he's your elite.
You'd give them all blue-themed names.
Ooh.
Yeah. You can give me a code name, a name, the only name that you know them by. Whatever.
Why did I do that in all caps? Can one be called Cobalt?
That was
Sure. Okay.
that is
Cobalt's
a color
the
of blue.
So the intermediate rook is Cobalt, and the elite is I
Where is it?
can
Pink,
name this
purple,
rook for you.
Blue. We could call him Denim. Or Arctic or Aegean.
Okay, let's go with Arctic. Arctic is
No.
your. Go ahead.
Sorry, no, that's to something in chat, not to something said aloud.
Oh, okay.
So we have Cobalt and Arctic.
And they are on the security detail.
Nice.
And looking
They are.
snazzy. We know that Katie has definitely done them up
Oh, of
completely
course.
in the
As soon
finest
as-
of uniforms.
As soon as they were as soon as it was decided that they would be connected to y'all immediately, they were outfitted accordingly. Because Katie's not gonna run around with anybody looking raggedy. All right, so awesome. Now we need to do our engagement roll. So y'all have your plan. Y'all are set to go. You all do your various things through the night to prepare. And go ahead and describe for me how your character prepares for a mission of this caliber. Let's start with Ari.
Let's just say it comes with the words, just like it was your last night alive.
Gotcha. Playing a rousing game of poker.
Exactly.
And Nines, how do you prepare for this job?
I'm probably gonna go to the state and just check that things are in order. Check on my sister.
She is very sick. She doesn't really seem to notice that you're around when you come visit.
Okay, I'm gonna leave her a stuffed animal,
Okay. Fantastic.
like
and
it's some blue animal. I don't know.
awesome. You leave her a stuffed peacock. Nines, how do you prepare for this?
That was me.
Or sorry, excuse me, Bishop.
I guess 2 orders of business. 1, prepare general infiltration equipment, and 2, gotta find Genevieve. She doesn't live here.
Okay. So it's not difficult to find. Oh well, we can. Okay. It's not difficult to find Genevieve. You go back to where you first saw her, and she is there, sort of just walking up and down the street, sort of glancing at the names of buildings and things. And she sort of looks up to, oh, hello.
Don't you get bored hanging out here? You can like hang out at our house. It's not like you take up like any of the food or anything like that.
Well, I don't want to scare any of your friends. It's a little disconcerting seeing me, I guess.
Well, we're doing the thing tomorrow, so
Right.
just
Yes.
yeah.
I will be there before you all leave in the morning. I'll be there, and you just tell me who I'm going with and what we're doing.
You are going with me to get your locket.
Oh, good. Okay, awesome.
Good talk, team.
And what was the other bit you wanted to do?
I just like prepare my equipment. Nothing special or interesting.
Okay. Fantastic. So we've got to do the entanglement roll.
What about Cole?
I'm so sorry. Call, what do you do to prepare for the evening? or for the mission in the morning, I should say.
Yeah, kind of like Bishop. He's checking his gear, making sure everything's straight, and he's actually playing cards with his uncle.
Okay.
It's pretty much just what he does for the evening.
Absolutely. Fantastic. One day I will find what I'm looking for in this fricka-frackin' book. Do. Oh, here it is. Engagement rolls. Okay, so the way an engagement roll starts is that we start with one die in the pool because an engagement roll is a fortune roll. So y'all start with one die for pure luck. And then we either add or subtract dice based on advantages or disadvantages. I would say that y'all have a pretty solid plan and y'all have help executing said solid plan. So I'm going to add 2 dice to the pool. However, you are trying to interact with the bog spawn, who are enemies of yours that might go sour. So I'm going to remove 1 from the pool. So we have 2d6 in the pool as we're rolling this engagement roll. And I will tell y'all what I get. Okay, I rolled a 1 and a 6. So y'all are going to begin this mission in a controlled position. Now, a controlled position is one of 3 positions that you can be in Blades in the Dark. There's a controlled position, a neutral position, and a risky position. And it's essentially like having a state of advantage, to try and put it in D&D terms. If you're in a controlled position, you get +1 die to your pools for the whole way through until you are knocked out of a controlled position. So, essentially, if something goes really wrong, somebody fumbles a roll, that kind of thing, that could blow the controlled position and y'all will be back to a neutral position. But essentially, y'all have such a good plan. Y'all have considered a lot of the factors and variables. So you're going into this very prepared, and it makes it easier to adapt to changes. So we will now move on to the loadout. And the way loadouts work in this lovely game of ours, if you look at your character sheets, you will see that on the right-hand side, right under the bonus die marker, you have 3 different types of load. You can have a light load, a normal load, or a heavy load. A light load has a maximum of 3 items, and those items are described right underneath where you're selecting this. And a normal load is 5 items. So for a light load, you are considered discreet. What pieces of equipment you do have on your person are hidden well enough that an average passerby or even like a cursory pat down would probably miss the things that you have hidden on your person. A normal load is you look like just a citizen with like things in your pockets and maybe something slung over your shoulder, but nothing odd to a passerby. But someone who inspects you might notice that like, oh, well, this person has a crowbar on their person or something like that. And then anything more than 5 items and you're in a heavy load, which makes you look like you are kitted out to rob a bank or knock over a caravan. And then, so we're going to go through because I do need to know your load limits. So give me 1 second to pull this up. And let's start with Cull. What kind of load do you think you'll be bringing? How many items do you want?
I think I'm going to do a light load because some of the things I have available don't count as a load.
Okey-doke. And then 9s. What load limit are you thinking?
I'm thinking just normal.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds good. And Bishop?
I'm gonna be with a normal load also.
Okay. And Ari?
A light load for Ari.
Okay.
She's got her
All-
fine disguise, a trance powder, and a cane sword.
Alrighty then. Sounds good. Sounds good. Sounds good. So it is now the morning of. What time does your plan begin? How early? So, you know that
Whatever
I'd
hour
s-
it starts, Ari's going to be waking up a couple of hours earlier to make sure she looks as fine as possible.
Oh, of course, naturally.
Yeah.
Uh,
Cola's gonna be up, get some breakfast, and he's gonna be out early to stake out the building.
okay. All right. So let's say that this plan starts around 6 a.m. and you until until the transport starts, you all are going to get an action every hour that you would like to take in the midst of the plan.
Coffee run. I'll do the
Sure.
coffee run.
Okay. So 6 a.m. action's a coffee run. Cole, you're just getting up. Your 6 a.m. action's breakfast. Nines, what you got? Just waking up.
Just waking up. I'm probably gonna go for a jog.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Bishop?
I'll go on that jog also.
Oh.
Okay. The clock rolls over to 5 a.m. from transport start time. What are we doing now?
Eating coffee and breakfast by the sounds of it after a couple of our friends have had a nice jog.
Okay. So you all sit
This
down
is
to
healthier
have
than any morning routine I've ever been a part of.
exactly. you
Morning.
Right, good morning.
Never
you
knew
sit
her.
down and
Some sun salutations.
y'all have a nice bonding crew breakfast. Yeah, that's 7 o'clock.
It's
4
time.
hours until transport.
Which actually
I
do
think-
stuff now, right?
I think that it's around this time that Genevieve sort of like phases through one of the walls. And says, I hope I'm not late.
Well, you missed breakfast, but
Oh, I was never much of a eater beforehand anyway, so
can I go over the plan with her? I guess
Absolutely.
what we're gonna do. Yeah.
So that's your 8 a.m. action. Nines, what you got?
I think I'm gonna go try to procure a cart.
Okay. When you say procure a cart, are you trying to steal a cart or are you trying to
I don't know if we have one somewhere laying around. If
I
like,
mean,
Katie
you
has
don't
one from her
have
business.
one, but you could probably find one.
I mean,
Now, whether you take it or buy it is up to you.
I'll look first for one that I can buy, and if that doesn't go well, I'll find one that I can take.
Okay. Go ahead and make me it can either be sway or survey.
Oh, okay, great. I don't have points in any of this.
I'll say that it can be command, but that is a different that's a different flavor of interaction for this
a
card.
different flavor of interaction if I'm like, hey, give me your fucking cart.
Yes, exactly.
I'll just go with like a normal conversation. I got a 4.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
with a 4, you do find someone who's willing to rent you their cart for essentially the money that you have on you. But if you want to buy the cart from them, they want half a coin.
You want half a coin?
Half a coin.
Is it a nice cart? What kind of cart are we talking?
It is a good, well-conditioned working cart. It's like it's a farmerman's cart, and essentially he's saying he'll sell it to you, but he needs enough to either get a cart or he needs the cart back.
Yeah, I'll give him half a coin, only because I'm probably gonna fuck this cart up.
Okay. you purchase the carts, and you now have a cart to add to the plan. Ari, it is 8 a.m. What you doing?
8 a.m. I think she's there with her stopwatch, getting a little angsty, but ready to go with Cole with wherever Cole and I are going for our spring of this part. I know that we're going together. I have suddenly had a major mind blank all of a sudden.
So this is as good a time as any to go over it. But from what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, team. But team 1 is the exfiltration team that is going to wait for the bog spawn to cause a ruckus in the midst of the chaos. Y'all will slip in with your rooks and make off with the sarcophagus. And that team is Katie and Nines. And then team 2 is attempting to get the key off of the person who is traveling a different path to wherever their destination is. You never found out. You're attempting to get the key off of that person, and that is Ari and Call. And then there's basement team, which is Bishop and Genevieve.
One of the
Did Genevieve ever say that there was like a basement entrance? I know there was something about the basement that was different, or that was it just closed off from the other?
The only way that she saw to get into the basement is either through the actual interior of the tower, which you'd have to go through the front door, or the back hatches that y'all saw from the house across from the tower. There are 2 doors that led directly into the basement.
Okay.
From behind the tower. So does anyone have any other actions they would like to do before the heist begins? Ari, what's up?
Is there a way that maybe I can convince my contact, the girl who I'm in a brothel with and I see as almost like my little sister, my Nyrix?
Yes.
Is there a way that I can maybe see about her, maybe trying to see if she can get a bit of information about this key from one of the regular clients?
Certainly. Go ahead and roll sway for me.
Cool. Okay, let's come to, and we just take the highest number of all the rolls that we
just
get.
The highest total number you get. Mm-hmm.
That's a 6.
Okay. With a 6, Nyrix actually knows the specific person who will be holding the key. It is a hold on, give me 1 second. Let me look up, see who I had holding this. It is a Dr. Lyman Baxter.
Okay, Lyman Baxter.
Mm-hmm.
Writing that down.
He is she describes him as an Armenian man with very thick, dark hair and glasses, and a nose that's probably been broken once or so before. And she says you will be able to notice him specifically because his ring finger on his right hand is painted red and none of his other fingernails are.
Okay.
Again with the red, huh?
Yeah.
I see how it is. I see how it is.
A little there, you know.
Sounds like there's like a theme or something. You would think that someone's like writing this stuff.
No.
It's crazy.
Wait, what?
You mean you don't just make it up?
Yeah, it's absolutely unbelievable. Okay. Anybody else have anything that they want to do before the transport starts? Okay.
I'm gonna try to get the cart kind of over towards one of our do we have multiple tunnels in Seven Towers, or is it just like the
Oh,
one
yeah.
that we?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
The tunnel network that starts under here, it spiders into every district except for White Crown, because White Crown is obviously across the water. But every district on the main central bit of land, there are tunnels all through it.
And we don't know the exact layout of the transport. Do we?
Sure. I'm sorry. What did you ask?
Do we know the path that the transport is taking?
I would say with Nirix poking around. Yeah. She was able to get the information out of her client because Ari rolled a 6. So that's sort of the point of where y'all found out where both he will be traveling and where the crate will be traveling.
Cool. I'll set up the cart somewhere nearby, whatever, do we have like a set point that we're thinking in mind of where this distraction is gonna happen?
Sure. We don't need to go into like us, the actual players don't need to go into specifics, but we can say that y'all
cart
have,
near it.
Yeah, y'all have a point where you're like, if we can get it to happen here, then we'll be able to take this into this house, which is connected to the tunnels. We'll be able to get it down into the tunnel system. And we'll say that all the nitty gritty quirky bits like that y'all have figured out. So before we start, there's one last mechanic that goes along with heisting that will be, hopefully y'all won't need it, but it's the flashbacks mechanic. So as you know, we've sort of skipped around for a couple of days, and there's a lot of dead time in between those days that we skipped over. And the reason for that is that at any point in time, y'all can choose to take on stress damage. And how much stress damage you take depends on what you're asking me to have done. But then we'll essentially have a quick flashback scene where you have a solution to the problem. Like you planned for this, you were ready for this, and you're pulling out that solution in the present day. And then, of course, if there are ever any devil's bargains, I'll be sure to let you know. So, with all that having been said, I think the camera is going to start on team 2. We watch as the camera goes high in the sky, hearing the deep ringing bongs of the clock tower bell as it peers down from the sky and across the streets of 6 towers over to Cull and Ari, who are watching they're approaching the caravan that they are fairly certain holds their quarry inside. This caravan is large, blue and gold sort of trimmings on the side, and it's got a logo on the side, a logo that Katie would recognize and has shared with you all, that it is the logo of Matrix, whatever company it was that originally had all of that happening. Welcome in, Raiders. You're joining us just as our heist is beginning. Fantastic. Grab a seat. You all watch as there are 4 men who are wearing these sort of very nice, tailored, dark, like chocolate colored suits with a black vest and tie underneath, all wearing gloves, and they're just looking around, sort of trying to remain aware as you see your target, Lyman Baxter, step out of the long the long Research Institute tower and step into the caravan. Cull and Ari, how do you begin?
There he is. Broken nose. Red ring finger. Right hand.
Yeah. That's what she said.
All right. We get to him, we get the key, we get out. Now then, do we go in as a duo? Or do we do this more individual but together? If you understand what I mean. I can always try and sneak in and do the old seduction thing, or we can always both go together and do the or else thing. I'm happy with either or. They both come with their own kind of excitement.
Yeah, I was hoping he'd be on foot, but I guess that was wishful thinking.
Of course, the Keykeeper keeps themselves close to the keep.
Yeah, it'd be hard to take it from him without him noticing.
Unless he's out for the conch for a long period of time. Again, via one way or another.
Can I have both of you make me a prowl check, please? And add 2
We are
dice
both
to your
looking
pool.
at him like absolute prey.
Add 2 dice to your pool because you are in a controlled position.
Five.
A 5 is my best as well.
All right. So you all see as this guard sort of leans out of the caravan one last time to do just like a cursory glance. You both just fall back into the shadows. Ari, you put your back to the cart to pretend you're holding a conversation with Cull that has nothing to do with them. And the guard just sort of and closes
And
the
the
door.
foie gras was just gone off, darling, I swear. I have
Did you
never
watch?
tasted anything so stiff.
The caravan begin to move down the streets. And you do know that there are speed limits for the caravans. They can't just like take off at a full horse trot to get to where they're going. So you could keep up on foot. But depending on where you follow them from, that may or may not be noticeable.
If we know, like, what route they're taking, can we take shortcuts to keep up?
Absolutely. Y'all know the city well enough that you wouldn't even need to do rolls for that. So you stick to the alleyways and you're just trailing behind it.
They're just making sure that they are sticking to that route.
Yes, they do appear to be in this first like opening 5 to 10 minutes. They do seem to be going the way that Nerix told you they would be going. So y'all are just keeping your distance, biding your time, waiting for a moment.
Looking as casual as possible, even though every step Ari takes is an echoey, claw, claw, claw.
Right, yes. Absolutely. Which you are not you're not alone in that sense. It is surprisingly not raining today either. It's fairly it's overcast, so it's not like, sun shining outside, but it isn't slick at the very least.
Ko's mostly keeping out of sight and just shadowing Ari.
Gotcha.
So he's just like making conversation when he can, but keeping mostly out of sight.
Sure. Awesome. Then the camera will pan through the streets, down through the gutter tunnels, and up toward Nines and Katie, who are a few streets to the right. And Katie just sort of steps forward and says, well, at the very least, they seem like they're going the way they're supposed to be going. So that's good to start.
Means intel's good at least, or something.
It better be. I paid a lot for that intel. I mean, technically, I didn't pay anything for the intel. It was a favor, but favors are worth things.
Favor the money, essentially.
And you see as the Institute the door opens again, and being carried sideways out of the, like, lengthways out of the door, you see the large stone sarcophagus. There is a very different amount of security with the moving of this. You see 3 different guards who are all holding blunderbusses sort of pointed toward the ground, and they're keeping a close watch on the street as this thing is loaded into the caravan. And as it is, that woman that I believe Nines and Cull saw last time y'all were here sort of steps out and says, "Be careful with it. Don't just throw it up there, for Christ's sake." And she starts like looking over the sides of it and says, "And don't take any turns too quickly. And if you're going across bumps in the road, drive slowly." And you see the 2 guards who are in the front that are also wearing these like heavily padded vests are sort of like, and as it is loaded up, you see that she places a hand against it. And Nines, make me a tune check.
Okay.
And I'll have Katie make one as well.
Is that then with the 2 extra dice?
I'm so sorry, say again?
Is that with the 2 extra dice, darling?
This is with 1 extra die because you are in a
1
controlled
extra
position. Yep.
Okay. So, question. If it's 1 extra die when I don't have any dice, is it just 1 die?
Yep. Just roll
Great.
the 1. Tell me what you get.
Wow. I got a 2.
What's that?
I
Sorry.
got a 2.
Okay.
How many people were carrying out of the building?
2 people. There was 1 person in the front and 1 person in the back sort of carrying it.
So it's not too heavy. That's good, at least.
Okay, I should be going with this. Okay. You see Katie squint at the woman as she sort of places a hand on this sarcophagus and tilts her head down and closes her eyes. And Katie goes, "She's praying."
I thought they weren't an actual church.
I thought they weren't in an actual church either. And you see, as the woman looks back up, you see that there's a slight blush to her face as she says, "Yes, transport it carefully." And she scurries back into the tower and doesn't close the door. She just stands in the tower threshold watching as they are finishing loading up onto the
I
car.
think she's one of those people that likes objects.
What do you mean likes objects?
I just read an article one time about these people that get romantically and sexually interested in different objects. She blushed and stuff. I don't know. That's weird. Why would you blush about God?
I don't know. Some people are ashamed of their religion, I guess. I've never been religious sort myself. Either way, we should keep up.
Mm-hmm.
And go ahead and make me a motherfucking prowl roll with an additional 2d6 because y'all are at a controlled position.
It's gonna be a 5 for me.
And that's a 4 for Katie. So y'all managed to y'all are trailing it from a fairly decent distance. Both of your sets are your loadouts because you picked normal, I believe, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so both of your loadouts being normal, you're a bit more noticeable walking through the street, but not to the point where anyone stops you or you seem to be gathering attention that you don't want.
Mm-hmm.
And now we go to the back of the tower in the sort of rotted out old wooden house with the drainage pipe that's leaked into it. Bishop, as you walk in here with Genevieve, you see that all the water that was in this room has drained down that hole.
That's convenient. Does it look like there's anything in there now other than water?
Looking down, you can see a bit more clearly that this is clearly a tunnel that goes down and curves away from like the street that you came off of.
And is it too high of a level of, or could a person fit in there, or is this the same height?
No, this hole in the ground is about, I'd say it's like a 15-foot radius, so it's like 30 feet across.
Okay. And my third question being, is the water too high to trudge through it, or could we try to go in that way?
There's no water.
All right.
Currently.
Oh.
That tunnel that you're looking at, you could tell from where it's angled that it doesn't go into the tower. But the pipe that was spitting water into this hole is no longer spitting any water into it. It is just a drained sort of mud tunnel that leads to what you would assume is probably the water.
It probably wouldn't hurt to see if it goes to the building.
You could check if you would like to.
Yeah, I'll take a quick trip.
Okay. So you slide down and immediately the dirt underneath you is just like almost straight mud.
Are there any other footprints or anything in the mud?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and make me a study.
Oh my god.
Or no, excuse me. You can hunt. Sorry. And you can add a d6 to your pool because you are in a controlled position.
I will keep the first die that I rolled because I've already rolled it, but I will add the additional dice because I have 2 dots in hunt.
Sounds good.
And the extra die. So that's a 5.
Okay. With a 5, you're looking through and there doesn't appear to be any footprints in particular in this tunnel. From what you can tell, there appears to be, it's primarily just sludge and just mud and muck from whatever the water that was sitting here had left behind. But since someone redeemed a lore drop in chat, you do find, as you're sort of sliding down here, your foot like scrapes against the sides of the tunnel itself, right? And as your foot comes down and scratches some of the mud away, you see another one of those symbols, the yellow one that was in the wardrobe upstairs. Go ahead and roll me a tune and add 3d6 to your pool because you're in a controlled position and you have a ghost with you.
Wait, okay. How does that work if I have, because I don't have any dots in Attune?
You just roll 3d6.
So just roll 3d6.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. 6.
Okay. With a 6, I'm going to need you to mark a point of stress damage. As you see this symbol, you almost, it's very, very strange. There's a moment where it seems to almost swirl or move, like it's being manipulated or tilted in some way. It's hard to describe, but it's drawing you closer. And as you reach out for a second,
not the mist licking book noises. Oh god.
Genevieve reaches out and grabs your hand, which makes contact, which is odd enough, and says, "Don't touch that."
I just felt you.
You did. I grabbed you.
You grabbed me.
And you see that she leans over and tries to press against the mud, and her fingers leave a handprint.
I'm gonna hold my arm out. Try to go through me.
She just
With your
hits
hand.
your arm. Doesn't pass through.
How do you feel?
I don't feel any. I mean, that symbol's sort of making me. I don't know. Should we get out of here? This isn't what we're supposed to be doing, right?
I just wanted to see if maybe this was like another way into that basement, but does it look like there is a way that way now that I'm down here?
As you're looking down, it seems like it just empties out of the cliff and pours the water straight down into the pier.
I don't think so, but it was definitely worth looking. I guess I'll give you a boost up if you need one now.
Okay. When you go to get out of this hole in the ground, do you cover that symbol up? Or do you just leave it?
I think I should kick some mud over it in case someone else comes. Yeah.
Okay. So you kick some mud over the symbol and it's sort of hidden under the muck again. And you go to climb out of the hole and give Genevieve a boost, and your hand just passes straight through her. And she just sort of like floats up out of the hole and goes, okay, weird.
Wait, one more thing. Just let me scientific method you just like one more time.
Okay.
And then we'll go back to luck, I promise. Okay, just like stand over solid ground. And I'm gonna go kick the mud off of it again.
As she stands over solid ground and you kick the mud off of it, you hear her feet down into the muck.
All right. Do you want to be solid or transient today? I'll cover it if you want to be transient.
I mean, I was planning on being like able to walk through walls and stuff, yeah.
Okay. Well, we can come back to this and I'll cover it again and I will join her outside.
Okay. So you scramble up the side of this tunnel and y'all peel through some of the rotted wood that you got a glimpse through last time you were here. And you just got to climb over the fence into the back of the tower area, which is easy enough to do. And as you land on the sort of weird turf, there's this sound that starts. It almost sounds like a ticking. And then you see in different points of the grass, these small metal rods poke up out of the ground. And that's where we're going to take our break.
Fucking landmine?
Yeah. And
yeah.
We'll be back to see how the heist goes now that it's underway. And hopefully you'll join us to see the thrilling conclusion of A Date in the Clouds. But until then, get some water, get up, stretch, hydrate, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you in a bit. welcome back, everyone, to the second half of Blue Ghost episode 2. Thank everyone for joining us in on that raid. And Alex, thank you for dropping some sugar in the chat. You lovely minx, you. It won't help
Call
you,
me the
but
sugar
hey,
plum fairy this season. You know, it's fine.
I will call you exclusively that from this day forward until my last.
Oh no!
So,
Oh no! What have I done? Screw it! No, I take it back. I take it back.
So last we left with team 2, Cull and Ari. Y'all are casing this very large, sort of ostentatious caravan that has, at this point in time, begun to have audible noise come from it. You hear the loud, almost like very, very gravelly voice that comes from the caravan, sort of like, I tell you, if I gotta move one more of these fucking things, I'm gonna lose my goddamn mind. And you see large tufts of pipe smoke come out of the side of the caravan, as this apparently older man, definitely a heavy smoker, has started talking probably 3 or so blocks back and has not stopped since. Like, he opened that door and has just been complaining ever since. He's like, I tell you fucking something else too. Thing that's in there, kid, it's worth more than everybody in this caravan and half of this goddamn city block. You understand me? That shit right there is more precious than gold. And we're not getting paid enough to protect it. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And you hear like the younger man sort of like, there's a small chuckle that you hear. And he says, dangerous as shit too. Make sure hey, I know she was annoying, but she wasn't kidding about those fucking corners. Because if that thing opens, we'll hear about it from here. And they're just sort of continuing as y'all are trailing this cart. And yeah, are y'all making any moves or just continuing to lie in wait? Is there anything you want to get into?
You think you'd be able to distract him?
You read my mind. And so Ari makes a little bit of a point to quicken up her step in order to try and walk in front of them and say, so if you could get paid the ideal amount, what on earth would you be looking for?
So as you sort of trot up to this caravan that's at a certain stop, you see that the man, Dr. Baxter, sort of just sits back and goes, someone's listening into conversations that they shouldn't be.
Or somebody's talking a little bit louder than they should be.
I guess it doesn't really make a difference, does it? You know, you might want to be careful what you hear walking down these streets, especially at this time of day.
What can I do? I have just never learned such different ways other than to happen upon the things that I hear. But it sounds to me like I could help solve all of your problems.
And you see he sort of leans back, very wide smile. And the guard says, ma'am, if you could step away from the no. So what are you, kid? Comorton? Or one of those broken sparrows? I mean, what is this?
You really think, and she gives herself a moment of just like, hang on a moment. You really think I am but a broken wing of a bird trying to flap your way desperately? Oh no, Sonnies. And she gets out her little palm pipe, opens up her little stopwatch, and blows carefully. and uses her trance powder
All
upon
right.
the two of them.
Okay. So, is that a roll from you or a roll from me for the trance powder?
I'm trying to remember if I'm completely honest. Let's see. Hopefully this goes down well.
Fingers crossed. I'm trying to find it as well. This book, there's so much stuff, so many things to scroll through.
It induces a pleasant hypnotic trance when inhaled. Is a dose of the popular drug which induces an altered mental state. The victim of this powder is not fully unconscious, but rather retracts into a calm, suggestible mental state similar to hypnotism.
Okay. So as you I tell you what, I will offer you a devil's bargain. I will say that the powder works regardless because that's one of the 3 items that you brought with you.
Mhm.
I will say if you accept the devil's bargain, then we can say that Lyman is leaning forward enough to where you can pluck the key out of his shirt pocket. And if not, we can deal with the powder will still work, but it won't be that easy for you. And as always, the devil's bargain will be resolved. Okay. So you see that Lyman is sort of leaned forward as you blow this soft pink and purple, almost like a handful of glitter that just splashes into his face and immediately disappears. And he goes, "Ah, man, you're not any of those things, are you? You're something completely different." And you see that like the heart eyes like pulsing as he like wolf whistles at you, and you just lean forward and ever so gently pluck it from the front of his pocket.
My business card, darling, as I slip
Yeah,
it
no, go
into, as I swap that in place.
Amazing. All
You
right.
can find me here at my other hours.
Sorry, what was that last bit? I didn't hear it.
At my other hours, you can find me here.
And he sort of leans back and goes, "All right, let's get this fucking thing moving. I got shit to do after work." And the caravan
Stay safe, darling.
begins again. And Ari, you have not a key like you were perhaps expecting, but you do have one of those small balls of clay that fits into the palm of your hand. And having seen how it worked on the tower doors, you're pretty sure that this is the key to the sarcophagus.
She walks back to Carl with a bit of a strut in her stride.
Fantastic.
May not be a key. And she just dumps the clay into his hand. But I think this shall
you're good.
work. I'm a professional. What can I say?
All right. And with that, the camera will retract and draw up toward team 1 with Nines and Katie. You're both approaching the point of contact that you know. When I go ahead and make me a hunt roll. Plus a d6 because you are in a controlled position.
So 1.
What'd you get?
A 1.
Well, luckily, Katie got a 6. So
That's
while
good
you are
for her.
while you are a bit distracted by just some passerbys that are making things a little bit, there's a bit of a crowd. You're going through sort of a more crowded part of the street. and Katie grabs your arm and stops you from walking forward. And she points in four different alleyways, and you see 4 pretty large guys that are gathering around the alleyways. And as you look closely to their neck, you do see the 3 wavy lines that indicate that they are branded for the River Gang.
So what's our plan when they actually start going ham?
Are they going to do it here? There are so many people around.
It's them. Of course they are.
Well, our plan is hopefully our guy is riding in the back like he's supposed to be, and Arctic will make out with the crate with the name of the other one, Cobalt. Arctic and Cobalt will step out with the crate, and she sort of points to a haberdashery's that's called Harry's, and she says, that's where one of the tunnel entrances is. So we just got to make sure that cart gets into there, and we'll be right as rain. This should be easy.
Great. Why do I think it's not going to be?
Probably because you're smart.
No one's ever said that to me.
That doesn't surprise me. And she sort of like steps forward, and as she does, you see that these 4 people who have sort of gathered are beginning to step out, and one of them steps forward, and you see they have this very big I can't think of the name, bull ring piercing. What's it called? Septum piercing. Septum. There we go. Yes, thank you. This very large black ring septum piercing in 2 gauges that match. And he just sort of strolls out and says, "Oh no, I've been hit by this cart. Someone call the blue coats." And he just sort of like keels over and starts grabbing his leg and saying, "Ow, ow, it hurts so much." And you see one of the guards leans out of the window with the blunderbuss in hand and says, "You have 5 seconds to move." And the guy goes, "Oh, well, let me make sure I get out of your way in time. 1, 2, and you, as he gets to 2, arrows just start firing into the caravan, and it rocks back and forth as the two guys just in the front just jump out of the truck, blunderbusses in hand. Or excuse me, one of them jumps out with a blunderbuss, and the other one jumps out and starts making their way to the back. And then one with the blunderbuss is going to fire at the guy in front of the cart. And as he sort of lets this loud ricocheting gunshot off, which immediately sends everyone in 6 towers fucking scrambling to the alleyways and just anywhere they can get to that's not here. The shot does miss and ricochet off the ground as the guy just sort of like moves back and goes, "Whoa, I wasn't done. 3, 4. And he like limps back toward the alleyway before probably about 7 to 10 members of the river spawn come out of these alleyways. Some of them have like little like old rusted looking crossbows, and other ones just have like these blunt clubs. But that's not the thing that you pay the most attention to, because as you see the back 2 doors of the caravan kick open, the guard who is wearing the heavier armor is now wearing a helmet that has these gold teeth spray painted across the visor. And his eyes are this bloodshot red color. And he steps out with this large gun that looks like it should take him 2 hands to carry. And you hear this sound. And as some of the bog spawn like turn to shoot him, he turns and clicks the lever, and you hear as this spray of flames just coats and immediately catches these guys on fire, and they start stumbling back and trying to pat themselves out. And as they do, you see Arctic and the other two guards that you assume to be Arctic and Cobalt sort of stick their heads out of the back, looking around, and they manage to spot Katie specifically, who's less dressed for stealthing. And you see that Arctic turns and goes, "We're gonna move this thing. It's just a sitting duck in the middle of the street." And you hear the guy say, "Let's see how good your rook does. This is an elite rook, so
Please, bestie. I believe in you.
got a good chance." Okay. So, as this commotion is happening, you hear that the guy doesn't even respond. He's just cackling as he's just unloading flame on anything that gets too close. He doesn't even seem to notice the one or two crossbow bolts that are sticking out of his arm. And Arctic just sort of like turns and is like, oh okay. And lifts the thing with the other rook, or attempts to. Okay. You see that there is a moment of concerted effort. Like there's a first attempt to pick up the sarcophagus and it doesn't budge. And then there has to be like a second, like really putting their back into it, lifting of it, and they step down out of the cart and they start moving towards Harry's haberdashery. What are you doing, Nines?
So there's just full out chaos. What happened to the other guard that was running towards the back of the cart?
That one is sort of like trying to fend off Riverspawn with the butt end of his blunderbuss as he's trying to pack more powder and another ball bearing into it.
So all three of the other guards seem distracted by the Riverspawn debacle to kind of notice anything.
They don't seem to be paying. They seem to be quite preoccupied by the frontal gang assaults on their transport.
The Riverspawn seem to be noticing the big thing move out of car.
You do see that a couple of the Riverspawn, particularly that one who was trying to play possum in front of the truck, go, they're trying to move it. And you see he's trying to like get other people's attention. But there's a guy with a flamethrower in between them and the box, so they can't like make a move on it, but you do see them notice it happening.
I think what Nines would do is immediately just try to help move the thing along faster, since we're in a bit of a shit show. Okay.
So you rush out into the street and start like helping them move the... Okay. Go ahead and roll to attune for me with a +1 because you are in a controlled position.
Okay. That is a 6.
Okay. With a 6, you feel this deep wave of weirdly invigorating energy take over you as soon as you touch the stone of the sarcophagus, which is ice cold, by the way. And you help them shuffle it along towards Harry's haberdashery. And you hear Katie just go, okay, I guess I'll just... And she turns and like you hear her heels clack as she scampers towards the violence, trying to play a civilian in distress to keep eyes off of you as best she can. You step into Harry's haberdashery, and it's inconspicuously closed. So weird.
Wow.
You see that there's no one behind the desk, and that the door to the back has been led open. But you hear Cobalt go, "We gotta set it down for a second.
Oh my god.
Fuck me, that thing is heavy. Fuck's sake." And you see he's just like shaking his hands out, and you see Arctic is like not taking a hand off the thing and just watching the doors, and he goes, Nines, lock it.
Yeah.
Behind us.
Yeah. I lock the door. Is there anything nearby the door, big and large and heavy?
Yeah, there's plenty of things in a haberdashery that you could slide in front of a door.
Then I will sort. Which way does the door open before I?
It opens in. It's a
Okay,
push
great.
door.
Put a thing in front of it.
Okay. So I need you to do me a flavor if you don't mind.
What's up, Bessie?
Go ahead and roll me wreck with a +1.
Wreck with a +1.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 3.
Okay. So you go over to this haberdashery, like this armoire that's down on that first open shop floor, and you put your hand on it and you start to like push it to try to escape it across the floor, and you fucking fling it all the way across the shop, and it smashes into a million pieces against the wall as though it was made of paper mache. And you see Arctic's eyes sort of like widen and go, yeah,
yeah, that happens to me all the time.
Maybe you should be carrying this fucking thing then?
Yeah, you want to put a thing in front of the door. You're not going to carry it?
Oh, yeah, sure. Fuck, I'm good with that. And you see Arctic sort of like look you up and down and go, you good?
Yeah, good. Just gotta get it done to the cut. Yeah, great. Feel great. Feel full of life, honestly.
Nines, you feel your nose start to bleed, and I need you to take a point of stress damage.
Feel fucking great.
Yeah. All right, whatever. Let's lift it on 3. Yeah?
Yeah.
1, 2, and you lift it, and you don't know what Arctic and Cobalt were fucking complaining. It's not that heavy.
Oh my god.
And you start lifting it and backpedaling through the door, walking faster than Arctic can keep up with you almost. And y'all begin to search for the tunnels. And as you hear the scraping of Cobalt stop, and you hear, guys?
What?
And that's when the camera shifts back to the fake grass planted behind the tower, and these metal rods that have poked up out of the ground. And you see they begin to hiss and spit water across the grass as it slides down your like mud slicking boots, Bishop. And you see Genevieve sort of like float over to the double doors and say, if we come down through this way, I'm pretty sure that we'll end up in the supply closet, which should be exactly where we need to go.
Okay, so, well, I can't go through there, but can you just make sure the coast is clear?
Yeah, give me 1 second. And you see she disappears down, and she's gone for a while.
How long of a while? Like 5 minutes a while or like 30 minutes a while?
How long do you wait? Do you wait 30 minutes?
I
will say
she's just supposed to be checking if the coast is clear. I think somewhere between 5 and 10 I would get nervous and go, or at least try to listen in and see if I hear anything.
Gotcha. As you put your ear to the door, you hear whispered voices that you can't really make out what they're saying. Also, these doors are locked.
Okay. Can I use I figured it would be subterfuge supplies from my list. Yeah.
Like to break into a place?
To get the
That
lock
fits into
open.
subterfuge. Sure.
Yeah, there's subterfuge and there's burglary, and I didn't know which one was the right one.
You know, the good thing about them is you can just kind of make them whatever. So go ahead and roll me tinker with a additional D because you are in a controlled position.
4.
So It takes you a while. This lock is weird. You assume it's made to accommodate those same kind of keys. Shit.
Solid.
But you are able to pick it open after a little bit of like rough handling. You are able to get it to click open. But as the lock clicks open, the doors just swing open.
Okay.
And you see steps that lead down into a basement. And those voices coming from down the steps.
Okay, I'm gonna go down the steps. Does this lead to a supply closet as planned?
As you're looking in, you see that there are barrels and large cabinets that are filled with various things. They look like beakers of various oils and dark black liquids, and a couple of clear vials as well. But there seems to be all sorts of alchemy things through here. And also barrels of what you're not sure. But they're miscellaneous things at the most.
I'd like to pocket a few vials.
Okay. So you just go through and just like, you grab one of every color?
I don't want to make it so that it's like bulky on my person. But anything that comes in like a small enough container that I could just slip into my bag or the side of my boot, like that, I will take.
Okay. So you can put down that you have 4 vials of solution 32.
It's not ominous at all. I'm just looking at my notes to see if... I know we talked about where her locket is, just like in a crate somewhere down here.
It's in one of the barrels, yeah.
Okay, so if I look for that, is it there or is it gone with her?
Well, as you start to move toward the barrels, you do see the back of Genevieve sort of facing into the room. And you hear this voice sort of go, "Oh, please accept my gracious apology." And you hear Genevieve's voice go, "Shh, be quiet. It's fine. Just get up."
I want to keep listening.
And you hear the man say, Is this the sign? Were we successful? Did the tests work?" And she says, Listen, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't expect you to be able to see me. And I just need you to just be cool and calm. And he goes, I wasn't able to see you. I was not gifted with sight until...
While they're still diverted like this, I'm going to just take the locket and slowly back my way up. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't being double-crossed.
So you trifle through, and the locket is open. Do you look at the picture?
Yeah.
Looking at the picture, you see a woman that looks similar to Genevieve, maybe a few years before the current state that you see in front of you. And you see her standing next to a fairly tall woman with this very big, almost like church hat. And she's dressed like she's almost a classic like 50s or 40s TV star. And her eyes, there's a weird sparkle to them. And on the back of the locket, it says, "For my starlight."
Okay. Once I look at it, I'm gonna close it. And I'm gonna do the thing that I do, or the thing that I used to do when I had wired headphones and I was afraid of losing them, where I wrap it around my thumb and stuff it in my pocket.
Okay. So you've got the locket secured. And shortly after you come up out of the basement, you see that Genevieve is coming up out of the basement as well, with the other voice in tow, it seems.
Oh.
And she goes, "Bishop,
Genevieve.
did you get the thing?"
Yeah, is that where that damn voice is coming from?
No, it's this guy. And you see that behind her, there's this shorter, very sweaty man that is bald, except for like a cul-de-sac of hair around the edges of his head. He's got very thick, square, box-like glasses. He's wearing a lab coat that's probably a size too big, and looks like it's got like mustard stains on it. And he's got like a pocket protector and several pens. And he goes, "Oh, hello. Are you
Is
one
this
of
like
the devout?"
is this a ghost?
No.
Is this a ghost person or a real person?
This just seems like a sweaty guy. Are you one of the devout followers?
I'm just like, Bishop is just like blank. Genevieve, who is this? Who are you?
No.
Who are you?
Perhaps I should introduce myself. My name is Ottoman. It's nice to meet you. Like the furniture. And he extends a hand.
I will shake his hand
It's so clammy.
slowly. It's Shadow. And I'm going to shake his hand.
Ooh, Shadow, mysterious. Indeed, something that I would expect from I would assume, a member of the cult, yes?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
There's
you
so
could
much
call
to
me a
learn.
devout worshiper.
And Genevieve goes, they are joking. They're kidding. I keep telling you, I don't have worshippers. And he goes, well, I find that to be very hard to believe. As a spirit usually cannot manifest unless there is a devout worshiper who believes in the spirit that is already passed on. That's the way it works.
It's true, I do believe in her, but that's enough. Is there someone I can drop you off with? Guardian?
I thought that I'd be joining the cult because the mistress, she revealed herself to me. I've never been able to see the spirits. Alize can, and she makes sure we're all aware of her special connection, and now I have one of my own.
Okay. The thing is that to appear to someone, it takes a lot of energy from the lady, from the mistress. It takes a lot of strength. And she can't do it all the time. You know, she has to retire. She has to rest so that for us special followers to see her in our darkest moments, in our most needed times, she can be there. But she can't be around all the time for us. And now that she's been out for so long, for quite a few minutes already, she's going to have to retire to rest. And it's my job as her right hand to help her back to her resting place. And it's very secret. So we appreciate that you are joining us. Truly, Ottoman. It's wonderful to have someone else believe in the mistress. But I am going to have to take the lady back to her resting place if you're to ever see her again.
Okay, that makes sense. Sort of like a spectral battery. Interesting. So the spirits must recharge. Where do you go to recharge? Is there perhaps a well of souls or something that you dunk yourself in? Bishop,
I told
go
you
ahead.
that's the mistress's business.
Go ahead and make me a sway check with a bonus. I'll say 2 to your pool because this is a very gullible person.
All right. I only have 2 d6s. That is a 5.
Okay, with a 5, he goes, well, of course, I will respect your rest, mistress. I should probably get back to work anyway. I've been on my lunch break for about an hour and a half. All right, well, is there like a club or something that I can come to where I can meet up and, find a community to share in the splendor of our wonderful mistress?
When the mistress needs you, she will call upon you.
Oh, I see. So it's like a chosen one type of thing. Okay. Well, I'm sure that she will call on my expertise sooner rather than later.
Thank you for your time, Sir Ottoman.
Oh, please, no. The pleasure's mine. And we're friends. You can call me Otto.
Otto, of course.
And he goes, all right, well, mum's the word, right? Y'all have a good day. And the doors close. And Genevieve's just kind of standing there. And she just shakes her head and turns and says, Do you have the locket?
Pulls it out of their pocket and lets it hang off.
And you see that she goes to scoop it in her hands, but her hands just pass through it. And she goes, she stares at it and she smiles a little sadly.
You want me to open it?
If you don't mind. I know we have things to do, but...
Actually, this was our thing to do. Everyone else got things to do.
She sort of nods and looks at the picture and she goes, it's amazing, isn't it? I mean, she looks so much like me.
That's not you.
No.
Do you know who the other lady is?
She's the one who gave me the locket. She said that I reminded her of this woman.
Before the red wedding or after?
And you see the half smile she had just drops and she goes, after. Or before.
All right, let me tell you. I think we should find a safe place to camp out and maybe I'll leave this out for you, back at the hideout or something. And I should probably go down to the tunnels to see if they need help with the sarcophagus.
She sort of nods slowly and sighs and says, thank you, Bishop. I appreciate it.
What'd he say? Mum's the word?
God, that guy is the worst.
People really test my patience, I guess.
Why was he so sweaty?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. I nipped. I'm gonna open my jacket and show her the vials of solution 32 or 34, was it?
32.
32 in my jacket.
She looks at them and goes, what are they?
All right, let's go.
Dude. Oh, okay.
Wait, what did she say?
She said, what are they? Sorry.
Oh, what are they?
Yeah.
Gotta find out.
You just took it?
Eh.
And then you see that as she just does that, deep sigh. She just phases through the boards back to the house. And y'all make up your way to go off. So I'm going to need you to roll me. I'm gonna say only 1d6. You're going to roll for heat and entanglements, because with every plan, even the best laid ones that go the best way, there's always evidence left behind. So we're going to see how much heat you generate after your successful section of mission in the tower. So just go ahead and roll 1d6.
Roll.
Bishop, that's you.
Oh, I did not realize that was going to be me. Okay.
You completely died.
That is a
Just
3.
because you finished your section. Okay, so with a 3, you manage to generate 0 heat. Otto keeps his mouth shut and doesn't let anything in particular go. And the camera will shift back over to the key team. So y'all have managed to get this key in your possession. You know the rendezvous point, sort of the closest cross between the tunnel systems. What are you doing now that you have the key in your possession?
Are we heading back to the tower straight away, or are we taking it safely back to our homestead and maybe helping the sarcophagus or something on the way?
They might need us with the sarcophagus, or Bishop might need our help. We'll meet with
Raiders, welcome on in.
We'll meet with Team 1 first.
Okay. So are y'all going there above ground, or are you trying to go to one of the nearby tunnels and you're going to go underground?
Let's use one of the tunnels.
Yeah.
Okey-doke.
Try and keep it as discreet as possible still.
All right. So for your heat roll, more than one dice, because one of you was physically seen, and trance powder does not erase memories when the effect fades. So Ari, I'm going to need you to roll 3d6 to see how much heat you generate.
Ooh, laddie.
Roll low on these ones.
Would you believe me if I said the total was a 4? Because I got a 1, a 2, and a 1.
Okay. So miraculously, you Ari has an ability to either leave an impression or not if she so chooses. And while Lyman would probably recognize you if he sees you again, you just make sure that there's no chance he will see you again. And you miraculously manage to generate 0 heat. Very well done. As you all make your way towards the tunnels. Now, back at the shop with Nines and Katie, you hear the Ottoman stop scraping, and Cobalt says, guys?
What?
And you hear, excuse me, is the shop owner back there? It's Detective Inspector LaRose. I just wanted to come in, and I heard a loud crashing sound. Yeah, boss. Come on out and talk to the nice detective and tell him what happened to the Ottoman. And you see Arctic immediately looks at you in a very I'm not paid to talk to cops kind of way. And he's, no, you fucking, this is y'all's job. You go out there. Fuck that.
I'll come up and, see the police officer that definitely knows my face.
And as he sees your face, you see he goes, you're the owner of Harry's Haberdashery?
Is that an absolute shock to you? I can't invest in things. Only Katie can invest in things. I can't do shit.
Oh, so you're still associating. Good. It's good to know that you're all still associating with each other. Not suspicious whatsoever. Uh-huh. So the only I came, because there seems to be a very literal firefight going on in the front of the streets. But let me guess, you don't know anything about that, right?
I don't, and I find it quite interesting, honestly, as an officer, that you're investigating this instead of the fact that there were bunches of people screaming out there.
I am a detective. I'm here for the minute details and to get statements from people around the crime scene. There are plenty of blue coats outside that have dispersed the river gang that were trying to knock over a truck. You ever heard of the Dr. Leonard Church Institute?
Do I look like I know what a church is?
Well, no, it's just one of Katie's investments, apparently. So.
Oh, yeah. Let me pull out my Rolodex of everything Katie fucking invested. Scroll through. Would it be under L or C for Leonard Church? What do you think it'd be?
Go ahead and roll me command, since you're kind of like trying to front on him right now. You do have an extra D6 because you are in a controlled position.
Command is the only non-physical skill that I actually have thoughts in.
Very lucky.
That's gonna be a 4.
Okay. With a 4, you see he goes, I don't need all the sass. I just came here to, and then a blue coat peeks his head and goes, Detective Inspector, we tracked down that lieutenant guy that you wanted to talk to. And you see he taps his pencil against a small pad that he had pulled out and he goes, I tell you what, if you are gone from this store, when I get back from this interrogation, I'm shutting this store down and entering it as additional evidence into the crime scene in the street.
All right.
So stick around.
All right.
And he sort of watches you as he walks backwards out and back onto the street. And you can smell the smell of burning wood, rubber, and flesh sort of wafting in as the door opens for a second and then closes. And Cobalt turns and goes, what the fuck do we do now?
Get the fuck out of here. Get the shit. Get it out.
And he go, and as you say that, you hear Arctic call from the back, like, come on, Rook. And Cobalt just goes, okay, all right. And he rushes into the back. And they continue moving the cargo.
I'm gonna find a broom and sweep up the little mess I made and try to clean up my shop that I own.
As you're trying to clean up, go ahead and roll me wreck with an additional D6.
Fuck. God damn it. 2.
Okay. With a 2, you feel it's weird. There's just an extra strength behind everything you're doing. And as you go to like dust a vase, you almost just knock it straight off of the thing that it's sitting on, but you manage to catch it before it crashes into the ground and set it back upright. And you take a couple of deep breaths. And as you do, you feel that like extra strength, that invigoration. You feel it all exhale out of your body and you feel exhausted. Take another point of stress damage for me.
Okay.
As you feel a lot more tired. And but eventually, after there's a good 35, 40 minutes of waiting before Detective LaRose comes back and says, so I'm surprised that you're still here.
Why wouldn't I still be here? Told me to wait.
So if I go and check under the Roomtall name, this will be one of the properties that's owned by you or the family, right?
I didn't say it was owned by my family. I said it was owned by me. I'm an investor of it.
I don't know many investors and businesses that sweep up.
Well, you saw the chaos happening out there. I was walking by towards my family estate. heard the chaos inside and wanted to make sure that everything was in good condition and pretty for when my lovely officer showed back up to interrogate me for no reason at all.
No reason whatsoever, huh?
Not that I can think of.
Go ahead and roll me one more command check.
Okay. Still with that +1?
Yep.
That is going to be a 5.
With the 5, he goes, you know, I'm not fucking stupid. Or I'm not. I can pay attention. I can read context clues. I can read between the lines. You and your little collection of cohorts, you're up to something, and I'm not just gonna let it go.
Okay. Is that supposed to frighten me in any way, shape, or form? Is that supposed to intimidate me? Should I be shaking in my little booties? Like, oh no, big officer, sir. Don't hurt me and my friends. If we're up to something, which we aren't, because we broke up because of your involvement, need I remind you, for completely legitimate business practices. I forgot what I was saying, honestly.
How about you don't leave town, Nines? Stick around. Maybe I'll have some questions for you in the future.
Oh yeah, I plan on leaving town. I was gonna grab the next fucking Leviathan ship out of here or some shit.
Uh-huh. You see he turns and starts to walk toward the exit and trips over the rug. And just like stands up and
Do you want a coupon or anything? We have a lot of fine furniture.
then he just walks out and lets the door close behind him. So you have had an interaction with Detective LaRose.
Yeah, I did, didn't I?
And you're in a fairly public space. I'm going to say roll me 4d6 for your heat check.
Am I adding these all together? What am I doing here? These.
So it's just 4d6, and you would want to get low rolls on each, but it works the same way. Tell me the highest number you get.
Oh, the highest number I got?
Yeah.
It's a 6.
Okay. So with a 6, you generate 2 heat.
Okay.
And you generate that heat in the sense of questioning. So during the next downtime, you are going to be called into a police station to be questioned, Nines.
Okay.
And yeah. So as this all happens, the camera lowers down past the rock and sludge and sediment down into these not barely lit, but not very well lit tunnels. And you see Arctic and Cobalt set this large sarcophagus down, which Cull, Ari, and Bishop, y'all are seeing for the first time. And you see Arctic sort of take his very thick gloves off and go, well, that could have gone worse, I guess.
Glad y'all all right.
Yeah, fucking guy had a flamethrower. The hell's what's in this thing? And he sort of kicks it. Yeah, just do the flamethrower. Driving around protecting this thing. And he had a weird look in his eye. I don't know. It was bizarre. But what's in this thing? I don't think y'all told us.
Some things
Ari
are left
has
unknown.
got a special ability that might help in this moment.
Oh, does she?
Seeing that weird look in the eye. She has the ability of a slide that is the one about lying. Like looking into a mirror, you can always tell when someone is lying to you.
Oh, excuse me. What the weird look in the eyes comment was Arctic describing the man with the flamethrower.
Oh,
he was saying
my
that
bad.
that man
I'm so
had a
sorry.
weird look in the eyes. No, you're completely fine.
No worries. So, yeah, you're telling the truth. I believe it.
Exactly. And Cobalt goes, "Holy shit! This is like my first big job. What is in this thing? You said there's some things meant to remain secret. That's like ominous and shit. But like, I mean, what is it? Guns? Are you really not going to tell me?
I can
It's
tell
fucked
you
up,
it's
Cole.
not guns.
It's fucked up."
You weren't hired to find out.
Throws his hands up and he goes, "That's true. That's true." So we still got the hookup at the train station because we're gonna have to. Our faces were down on like the registry for that tower and shit. We're gonna have to dodge town for a little while.
Yes, absolutely. And Ari pulls out the second half of their promised deal and places it in their pocket. You lay down low and we'll see you in a few weeks' time.
Arctic extends a fist out to Cull for a fist bump.
Yo,
and
keep safe.
Cobalt shakes Nine's hands. Goes, "All right, we'll be back before you know it, and we'll try and lay low."
Remember to
careful
reach
with
out to
whatever that
Nirix
is.
if you get into trouble.
Yeah, for sure. And you see them both disappear down a tunnel that you know leads to the train station and leads to your contact at the train station, who will assure them passage out of the city for them to lay low for a while. And you all, the five of you are left in these tunnels with the sarcophagus down here. It'll be. Yeah, go ahead.
No, you go.
It'll be. I was just gonna say it'll be easy enough for a pair of you to move back toward the base.
There's something weird about this thing. I touched it and do I still have like blood on my nose?
Mm-hmm.
Did I talk to the cop with blood all over my face? I love that for me. Okay. I touched it and it made me feel and be, I don't know, it's just picking things up and accidentally chucking it across the room. You know? I got this from that. No one touched me.
You didn't take anything?
Mm-mm.
Anything else strange happened?
I mean, aside from the guy with the flamethrower, the cop, nothing really.
Oh, there was that one lady that we saw that was at the entrance. She like prayed over the sarcophagus or something.
Yeah, she was all praying over it and pulled back all bushy-faced about it.
Yeah, we better be careful carrying this back.
Ari and Bishop, you both, as the sarcophagus is lifted again, Ari and Bishop, you both hear, "Could you open the door for me? I know one of you two has key. Would you mind?"
Might we suggest a more secluded area?
There's no response.
Ari immediately darts her head around to see if anybody else seems to have had a similar moment.
Yeah, I heard it. I don't have the key though.
What?
You didn't hear that?
No.
No.
Too used to dead people talking in my head. Whatever's in there wants out.
That sounds like a thing we shouldn't do. Right?
Probably.
Probably not if we want to get paid.
I mean, we don't know what he wants with it. And
Yeah, but it's probably not a good time to be on the wrong side of Tommy just yet.
When is Tukench coming for the sarcophagus?
Dawn tomorrow.
That's soon.
theoretically, they must have opened it before, right? Like, they have the key.
Who's to say?
But you said the key changes when certain things, when it changes after it's used. You can't open it after.
Well, I also see no harm in seeing what we're handing over before we hand it over. We did do all the risk. Why not keep some of the reward? We're not taking it. We're not stealing it. We're just looking at it.
If you call it a reward.
We won't know until we look at it.
So for y'all, you got the key.
Let's take this back to our place. We'll take a look at it there. Away from prying eyes.
Oh, someone just blew up our door the other day. I don't know how.
Oh yeah, that doctor dude.
The doctor did the explosion. Everyone seems to know where we are.
You go to a more secluded area, tunnels, and do it.
Yeah.
Train station's usually pretty empty. Last one just ran. Until the night, at least.
Tunnels under
Are
the
you
train
telling
station?
us that, or is that voice saying that
That's
to us?
Katie. That's Katie.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Are the tunnels connected to the train station?
Tunnels go all over town, except for
Why
Whitehall.
not?
How out of the way would it be to go to the train station from 6 towers instead of heading to the docks?
Both of them are heading west, but the train station is more south than west. So it's a little out of the way, but probably not more than like 45 minutes. It's also about like 5 p.m.-ish at this point.
Okay, wherever we want to open it, we can.
I can see
Alright.
it being an almost near immediate after we get back to our actual safe home, our safe space.
Mhm.
All right. So y'all return to the docks in your base and crack it open?
Mhm.
Okay.
Cracking open a cold one with the boys.
It is quite cold.
Getting
and as you
ready.
open it, you can see this. Are you all around enough to see what's inside the sarcophagus when it's opened?
I was standing back in
I'd
this-
like to have my pistols just in case when we
Yeah.
open this thing.
Okay.
I was standing a few paces back and he's palming his knives.
Okay.
Ari, I guess, will be doing her
as-
best to help Nines.
Yeah.
Like,
All right. As you edge the key closer to it, you see the clay. You feel it vibrate for a second, Nines, as it takes the shape of a very complicated key that slides into the lock properly. There's a quick turn. You hear a click. And as it lifts up a little bit, mist starts to just pour out of the chest. And when you flip it open, you see several things. The first thing you likely notice is a large, dark gray egg that's probably about the size of Nines' torso. It looks scaled. It's heavy. It's like most of the weight in this crate. And it is solid as a fucking rock. You also see a small smattering of what look like emeralds, probably about 6 to 8 or so. And you see a small stack of papers, the top of which says, the top of which has no name on it, but it looks like a deed of some kind. So flipping through the papers, you all see the deed to a building that looks like it was constructed like 200 or so years ago. And it's the deed to a building here in the city that it's up in White Crown, which is strange because White Crown didn't exist 200 years ago. But the year is dated appropriately. There's also a few papers that Bishop, you particularly recognize as being court orders. They are orders to for search and seizure and for the detainment of a Dr. Leonard Church. And then
What's the charge?
The charge is what would the technical charge of this be?
Being a little naughty boy.
Crimes against humanity.
God, okay.
Human trafficking. And 4 counts of 3rd-degree murder.
Just casually.
I think Bishop would probably read this, like hold it up to the light, like that would change anything, like it's a bill that needs to be watermarked, and then read it again and be rather horrified. Or disappointed but not surprised, maybe.
And
4 counts of murder?
4 counts of 3rd-degree murder.
4 counts of 3rd-degree murder.
And the next paper is a interesting one. It appears to be a letter that was not sent out. There is no introduction. It just begins, and it says, "I think we found the perfect subject for the experiments we have planned. She has the sight. She has the aptitude. I truly believe we are turning a corner in Experiments Layla. The 30-second trials will be beginning soon, but I may have to take the building under my own personal name, as Matrix is beginning to garner a bit of a reputation amongst our colleagues. I'll keep you updated and send you any interesting results. Forever yours, Dr. Leonard Church."
Oh boy. Well, I'll share these findings with the class, obviously.
There is one last document that you find in the chest.
Okay.
Oy vey.
It is another deed. It is a certificate of ownership for a Leviathan ship that is called the Freelancer.
Wait, that guy owned a Leviathan ship.
Apparently.
He was a Leviathan ship captain, right? Leonard
Doctor
Church?
in question, is a Leviathan ship captain who retired. This is uncommon. Came back from one voyage deeply passionate about the marriage of magic and technology.
And of course it's called the Freelancer. What else would it be called? Thanks, Church.
It's ours now, so.
Yeah. I mean, that's the question. Is it Oz or is it... I mean, it's Oz.
If
Right.
we're in possession of the deed, it's ours. In fact, we could go to the harbor tonight and see if it's still there
Find us keepers.
But
See
we'll
what's on
find
it.
out.
before we have to hand this over.
Valid. So this experiment thing we were talking about is probably that woman that did the weird praying, right? Has the sight. Is she probably the one that saw your ghost friend?
It's very possible. I mean, Genevieve said that she worked there and seemed kind of important on the floor that she was in. Someone else saw her today. This weird, sweaty dude. He like harmless. I just pretended that me and Genevieve were like high up in a cult and that I was her retainer and told him that he should go rest for when the mistress needs him again.
So we have a nerd in our back pocket.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He went full religious. But point being, I think you can see her if you've seen the pearly gates, perhaps not crossed them, or crossed them and then came back.
It's not going to be a card we can play often.
Oh, and I also stole some of their shit.
Good.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Anything fun?
These vials,
Hmm.
I think it's that stuff they're talking about, 32.
Bishop,
Yeah.
as you look at the vials, they've changed color slightly.
Uh-huh.
They've gone from sort of a greasy, almost oil-like yellow to this deep, verdant green color.
Was the room I was in before like a specific, like was it overly hot or overly cold in there, like a temperature control?
It was a basement, so it was a bit cooler than the surface level.
I'm gonna put 2 in the fridge, leave 2 in my room overnight, and see what happens.
So
So-
with your... Go ahead, sorry.
No, I was like, what's this fucking egg?
Dragon?
Dragon.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it was.
Yes.
But the old magic
Things like Leviathans exist.
Mm. Mm.
It's cute how you all still believe.
If you are all done searching through the contents of this locked box, what would you like to do next? You said you wanted to go down to the pier to try and find the ship in question.
I think it's worth looking.
It might look a little sus that we just, some of us got seen, then we just like waltzed down to the harbor and are like looking at ships.
That's true.
Especially if they knew that the deed was in here and were like, hey, we have the deed to this ship.
Toucanch didn't even know what it was.
Well, but like the people that we stole it from. No. They probably know that it's in here, right?
All right, so it might as well be his problem.
I mean, we could sneak it away, save it for later, and then just look at it later.
Unless he was
All right.
lying about not knowing.
Unless he's lying about not knowing.
It's very possible that he's lying about not knowing.
Also, what the fuck are we gonna do with the Leviathan ship?
I don't know. Leave.
Probably needed a good couple of dozen people to sail a ship like that.
Or you
That'd be
need
where the
just a
real
couple
money
of thousand
is.
people who want to leave the city. How hard could that be?
Wish I never came.
What are we
So?
going to do? We could look at it. We could sit here, vibe.
Yes, who is heading down to the pier?
So we are doing it then?
That's what I was asking.
I think it would be. I think
Okay.
Nines was right. It would be weird if all of us went as a group.
Got the
I
most
wasn't
attention.
I wasn't
So-
seen today by anyone but that one guy. So
Y'all
I
can
think
go and
I
I'll be
can
safe
go.
up.
All have a little heat, was it as well?
You
we had
guys
to roll
got
for
no heat.
Heat is crew wide.
Oh,
Okay.
But that does not defy the things that were just presented. Like Bishop hasn't been seen. If anyone knows they are affiliated with the Blue Ghosts,
Mhm.
then they'll connect 1 and 2. But people who don't know don't know. All right. So Bishop is heading down to the pier.
wait, do I have to go alone again?
I'll go with. They haven't seen me either.
Can somebody Thank you.
All right. So Bishop and Cull are headed down to the pier. So when you get down there, you are the person you're looking for, and you know this well enough. You're looking for Old Man Seaman, and he takes his name very seriously and requests that no one makes jokes about it. And he also goes by Old Man if people can't help themselves. And he goes, Hey, what do you two whippersnappers want?
I've actually find myself interested in the building of ships lately and craftsmanship, and I just came tonight to perhaps take some drawings of the different bows, if that's okay.
You see he sort of like blinks at you for a second, then turns to Cull and goes, The hell are they talking about? What do you want?
New interests. They're obsessive.
Can't help myself.
If you want to look at the ships, just go out there and look at the ships. Need my permission to sightsee.
He asked us.
Mhm.
He asked us.
So you all you're just trying to see if you see the ship and docked at the pier. Apologies. I was under the assumption that you were going to like present the deed and be like, hey, this is our ship, point us to it or something like that.
We don't
but
need
if
to leave a
you-
paper trail. We don't-
If you're just trying to scope it out with your eyes, you do not see a ship called the Freelancer.
That's what I was perhaps not afraid of is the word, but that's something I had suspected. I guess we can report back that unless there's like a suspicious like ship wide spot that's like open where like if you reach your hand out the ship is just like there but it's invisible other than like
So the bishop like waves their hand over the water a couple of times, but no luck. The vacant spots just seem to be vacant.
Well, a lot of this paperwork is from 200 years ago. Might be an old ship.
I heard you're not supposed to rename them. Isn't it supposed to be bad luck?
That's no longer used.
I will say on the deed there is also a lot paper. Like part of the deed of transfer is the ship in lot named is now under the ownership of Dr. Leonard Church, etc., etc.
Is there anything in that lot at this point?
So the lot that's on the deed is like in the 300s. It's like 351.
Okay.
And these lots do not go up to even the hundreds.
We're not even at the right dock.
You both can make me a, let's call it let's say study or survey checks, your preference. There's no +1 for this because this is not a part of the job.
Three.
6.
Okay, with a 6, Call, you actually take a look at the lot number, and you know that this lots that start with 300 are up in White Crown. They're not on the mainland.
Yeah, it's in White Crown.
Okay. How far is White Crown from here?
Probably like an hour walk. Then you have to get to the bridge and you have to be processed before you cross it. Probably take you like 2 hours to get to White Crown. Both ways.
What time is it?
It's like 9. It's not that late. It's like 7-ish.
I don't think we're getting across that bridge. It's the problem.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to agree with you. I don't think we're getting across that bridge either. Not after sundown. But I guess we could hold on to it. But we run the risk of Tukench knowing what was in there and looking for it.
The egg's the obvious thing, but it could be something else he was after.
I think he's after whatever the fuck that egg is. Frankly, I don't really want to give it to him, but I don't think we have much choice.
It's a deal. Even if we don't like it.
Yeah. Well, if we're not getting to the other side of town today, I guess we should just head back.
Yeah. Did everybody go home like after we split up?
I don't know. 9, sorry. Did you go home?
At most, I think Ari would have maybe visited Nyrix if just for a moment to say thank you for the successful connections we made
Yes,
today.
yes.
And also to make sure that she's aware of the possible new visitors that she might get coming her way.
She nods and looks a little worried, but nods. Well, you all make your way back to the lair with all of your stuff in tow. What are you putting back in the box that you have taken out?
My cane. I don't carry my cane all the time.
Wait, do you mean what of our original belongings are we putting back? Or do you mean what are we putting back in the sarcophagus?
Like what
stuff?
out of the stuff that you took out, like the papers and the deeds and all that?
Well, the legal documents, I'm not sure about the deed yet, but the warrants and stuff, the information can be retained without the physical paper. So those can definitely go back. Does anyone else have strong feelings about anything else? I said I wasn't going to be facey in this game.
I must admit, I do enjoy hearing the voices of one of our more outspoken members when it comes to moments like this.
I retired from outspoken.
So, do we want to keep the Leviathan ship and put everything else back? Do we want this building that we don't know if it exists or not? This weird building that doesn't seem like it should exist? What's the address on the building? Does it have an address?
Can we make a
But it was
copy?
also in White Crown.
Yeah.
The address is up in White Crown, yes.
Haven't
Yeah,
you
but-
been over there, Richie Rich? You don't know where it is?
You think I hang
Nines.
out?
I would say that you would know that the document in question is likely outdated because you're pretty sure that there's a pier where that building would be now.
That's strange. I'm gonna jot that address down.
Yep.
But
After
mean-
all, we can still hold on to the address and return the original piece of paper.
yeah, exactly. We know about it.
We could technically do the same with the ship. We know what lot it's supposed to be in. We know that.
Agreed. Let's make copies.
I mean, can we get it forged?
Dita
before-
knows. I'm pretty sure the people in White Crown won't just let us have a Leviathan ship.
That's true, but I don't really intend on commandeering a ship. I intend on robbing it.
Forged papers, as maybe I heard a little birdie say.
Lots of birds around here.
Lots of whispers. So we
Right.
forged these ship papers, which will hopefully give us a stronger stance when we try to take our own Leviathan, possibly steal it right underneath their nose. It's unlikely, but it's a little bit stronger of a chance.
It's at least something to have in our back pocket in case we need it.
I think it might even help us bargain with Toukench later if we need to. So I am okay, yeah.
Does anyone know anyone that can forge? Great.
Well,
I have a girl who's good at access to information. I'm not so sure how she is at copying it.
I've got a doctor, kind of a shitty doctor, but not a forger.
Only have people that can
Sounds
beat other
like
people
y'all will
up.
have to make a new friend.
Yeah. Shit.
Mhm.
That
How
Auto
late is
bastard.
How late is Fight Club open, D?
Episode 3,
Fight
the
Club?
gang goes
Fight Club
mingling.
all night.
Well, I could kill two birds with one stone. Go let off some steam and
Make a friend as you do.
see if anybody there has this very sketchy hobby.
Vicious
Bunch
Love,
of
I'm here
ways
to
to see
make
new friends.
friends.
That was good.
So what do you do in your spare time?
Make friends.
Whack. All right. Well,
man,
the
I love
logistics the logistics of how to get something like this forged is more of a conversation for a Sunrise episode. But if y'all are replacing everything but the document for the forgery back into the chest, and then I would assume relocking it,
Mhm.
then by the morn, at the crack of dawn, there's a loud thudding knock at the door, as darkening the halls of your lair again is the always rain-slicked Tommy Toukench. It always seems to rain when Tom comes to town. Weird. I'm sure it's nothing. And he says, well, 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 look at you, completing jobs like a proper crew. You know, I heard the word is already spreading about the blue ghosts. And he sort of glides into the lair proper, starts looking things over, and says, yeah, here it is. And he takes the key, clicks it open, and goes, well, aren't you just gorgeous? And he reaches down and scoops up the egg and holds it close to his face, appraising it.
Is Tommy lifting this thing like without any effort?
With no effort whatsoever. Just like scoops it up like it's a chicken's egg. And it's just like, Well done. Well done indeed. He sets it back down, closes it. And you watch as it begins to float. It just lifts off the ground and starts following Tom. And he says, well done indeed. Well, we could consider this another mark off of your very hefty contracts. Oh, and a little something to help with operating costs. And for completing this job successfully, y'all are going to get 8 coins added to the party funds. You're going to get +3 rep to your crew. And you're whittling away at your contract with Tommy Tukench. And he stops for a second and looks specifically at Ari and Bishop and says, well, wonders never cease. You two saw something weird recently, didn't you?
No.
I see weird shit every day when I look in the mirror.
Oh, we need to talk about this, Bishop, sometime.
Which was it?
I didn't say it was bad.
Was it a vision or one of the signs? Oh,
what's it to
okay.
you?
Oh, nothing. It'll be interesting to keep track of your progress. There's a whole lot of world out there behind the city limits of this wall, behind the walls of these city limits.
So why would
I know that
we give that information up for free? Knowing
that's why you're my favorite, darling. But I'm sure you people have things that you'd rather do than talk to old Tommy. And he starts making his way toward the door. And steps out into the street and says, oh man, what happened to y'all's front porch? Should get that renovated. Ta-ta now. He begins to clomp away down the street.
Is it just floating after him as he's walking
It's
down the
just
street?
floating with him.
Is
And
anyone reacting out on the street?
No.
It's just the egg that he took?
No, he took the whole crate.
Oh, the whole crate is floating behind
yeah.
him.
Oh yeah.
Those are weak to wind damage in Persona.
He's walking past people and no one seems to even give it like a second glance.
Ari will
feels
definitely
like
run
Wednesday.
to go and shut his. Oh, I'm so sorry.
I was just making a snarky comment. Go on. Oh.
Ari will definitely run to go and shut the door after him, but we'll be looking at the front porch, noting that he mentioned like how hecked up it looked and thinking, wait. It wasn't totally ruined when we were last here. What is he talking about?
When the door blew up after last time.
No, y'all got that somewhat repaired. Ari is correct. As you step toward the door, you see spray painted on the front of your lair in almost smoky looking letters. You see it says Blue Ghosts HQ. And where there would be a period, there are the 3 lines of the River Spawn Gang. And that is where we're going to end tonight's episode. Isn't that a fun time?
Yay.
Yay. Our secret lair is totally not secret. Now everyone knows where it is.
Yep.
Our solution is just going to have to be moving, honestly.
I mean, no one's broken in yet.
Session 3,
That
the
is
gang
true.
moves.
We could maybe paint over it.
We should have kept the deed to that building, then we could have moved into White Ground.
You get the vibes that you weren't really hidden from the upper gang leaders in the first place. They've kind of got a finger to the pulse of the city. But there's certainly something going on. Y'all should look into that.
So you
But
pissed somebody off.
that will be next week. So thank you all so much for watching. Thank y'all for all the raids, all the point redemptions, and for coming and hanging out with us. We're gonna go back up the line in reverse order, starting with Becca. Becca, tell us about yourself. Where can we find you? How are you doing?
Hello, I've been Becca. You can find me on most places as Cool Armadillo, either with a 0 as the final O or not. You can also find me on Saturdays on my podcast, Unlikely Adventurers, where me and my co-host make a bunch of really bad, awful D&D characters, and we have just uncontrollably horny energy, and it's really just a mess in and of itself. Yeah.
Fantastic. And next up, we have the partnered streamer.
No, we're not bringing
Madam,
them back.
yeah. What? We can't. No Throwback Thursday?
No,
Unfortunate.
no. I'm gonna go with like horny, the horny streamer.
Okay, gotcha.
That thing.
Gotcha.
But yes, hello. My name is Madam Gandalf. I am indeed a partner streamer here on Twitch. There we go. There, I'll give myself that. Yeah, you can. I'm a full-time person who you can find doing a lot of role play, along with a variety of games, singing, cooking. You name it, we've probably done it at some point. We were, before the hot tub meta, we used to do singing in the shower before the hot tub meta was ever a thing. So, yeah, come on by my Green Dragon Tavern and have a drink on me. In fact, we're going to be live right after this doing some Grand Theft Auto roleplay. So,
Yeah.
that's something that you're interested in, seeing some like fireworky things. Hell yeah.
Awesome. And next up, we have Cole, played by the lovely Ryan. How you doing, my guy? Where can we find you?
What's going on, Ryan or Sphinx? When I'm not here, you can usually find me lurking in other people's chats throughout Twitch. Just usually where I am.
Hell yeah. Everybody go follow Ryan. Ryan's one of my favorite people. I was like, who's going to be in this game with Ryan? Because I'm definitely bringing Ryan on. And I was nothing but correct.
The best
and-
smile in TTRPGs as well.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. The bedrock of the community. And I'm not being facetious whatsoever. But next up, we have the lovely Bishop, or Max, depending on the day.
I'm Max. I'm about to say a lot of names of places and things that I am doing. This weekend, PAX U. I'm real hard to miss. I think I'm going to be Molly Mock on Friday, so like I'll be purple and stuff. Beyond that, you can find me on Tuesdays this month with TTRPG, with my horror series in the system The Between. And you can find me this upcoming Saturday doing a VTM charity one-shot event with Paper Crow. That's not as many things as I thought that it was going to be, actually, now that I say it.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And cool. I guess there's just this nerd left. Hi, I'm D. I'm a voice actor, streamer, musician, professional GM all over the interwebs. And I also play Julian in Wood Studios Crimson Spire, available on basically any console you could think of. We just added a DLC 5th route where you can be polyamorous and date all of the choices, because fuck yeah. So go kiss me as a vampire. On Mondays, you can catch me here on the Critical Misses channel, where I play a Zuko in Kingsguard, a Roll20 Spotlight show. On Tuesdays in December, you can catch me on TTRPG, where I will be playing a mess of a character in Max's The Between game. On Wednesdays, obviously, you can catch me putting my friends through hell right here on the Critical Misses channel. And on Thursdays, you can join me on my channel for the greatest team in esports history, the Dub Club. And we are the greatest esports team all over Twitch. Only dubs, never losses. We never lose a single game. There's no need to check the VOD because I just told you what happens at the end of it. Don't waste your time. Your time's more important than that. On Fridays, you can catch me in various places. We're having Batsember over on my channel, so if you want to join me as I go through all of the Batman Arkham series, please come and check us out. And I am the retaining TTRPG Universal Heavyweight Champion. And if you want to find out how you can win a belt just like this once the pancetta over and I start going to cons again, follow me on social media. And who knows, you might end up being the Universal Champion. I also want to give a quick shout out to our lovely producer, Anita, who's working behind the scenes, keeping everything amazing. They made all these great overlays. Yeah, make sure you support your producers. They do a lot of work so that we can come on here and throw dice and have a good goddamn time. We are going to raid someone named Madame Gandalf. I don't think I know who that is. But, hopefully they are cool people. So y'all sit tight as we prepare to storm the Green Dragon Tavern. And we'll see you the next time the sun rises with the third episode of Blue Ghosts. Bye, everybody.